Stephen Thomas with Reports on Housing. I am so glad to be here on this very cold November day. Cold for me. I'm actually going to go visit our son in Washington State, Pullman, and pretty cold there. It's not supposed to snow, but it gets down into the cool 20s, 30s, right around there. So, anyhow, let's get this party started. And here we go. All right. There we are, another housing debrief. Stephen Thomas, bringing it to you live, asking you to go to YouTube and please smash, pound, hammer that like button, subscribe to the channel. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. That's what it's about. I just want to get the proper expectations of the market given the charts and data that we have to this day. And we'll try to prognosticate where we're going to go. This is the second to last housing debrief. We have one last housing debrief next Thursday. That'll be the last one for the year. We will be doing a 2023 housing forecast in December, so stay tuned for that. It won't be the housing debrief. That is like, gosh, at least 50 minutes long, somewhere around there, close to an hour. And but we'll be bringing that in December, so look for more information to come on that. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about inflation, because CPI came out today, and boy, was that a unbelievable number today. That it beat everybody's expectations. It was actually it didn't exceed it this time. It was less than what everybody was expecting, which is actually a good thing. Which is why the Dow went up over 1,000 points today. It was the most it went up since 2020 when we started to come out of those COVID lockdowns and things started to look a little bit better. So that is the headline inflation. You could see it's at 7.75. It's actually the lowest level since January of this year. So that's headline inflation. That means it's going in the right direction. People think a lot of that has to do with fuel. Actually, fuel prices here, at least in California, have been up a little bit, but it's kind of a mixed thing. Used cars is a big part of that. We're going to see it more in the rent inflation. Will start to even come down further. That's a 2023 story. And when that happens, we could see the CPI index continue to go down. This is good news because it kind of feels like this is where it is going to start to go down. You can actually get a sense, even though there's a lot of the CEOs and owners out there that talk about they're going to continue to raise prices. I don't think that's going to go very far as the economy continues to slow with these higher rates once they get into the economy further. And you can see this is core, and core is pulling out the volatility of food and fuel and energy. And the latest core actually is down as well. It's down to 6.28. That is a good trend. I mean, it's not like dropping like a rock, but it is going the right direction. And if I still draw a line across, you have to understand where we are right now is as far as core is concerned, we haven't really been here since like 1982. But the 10-year treasury totally responded. Remember, the 10-year treasury, the appetite of the investors, very similar to the appetite of the investor of mortgage-backed securities, which is why when this goes down, interest rates go down. So we watch this regularly. The 10-year, I was up at 5 a.m. just so I could see what happened to CPI, and immediately the 10-year fell, and Dow futures were up like 800 points. So you can see where it's at. That big giant drop is today. We were above 4% until that CPI came out, and then it dropped like an absolute rock. But you have to put it in perspective. We were a lot lower at the beginning of the year, like 1.5. We're still all the way at 3.867, which is why we had interest rates go from 3.25 to where they are today. But interest rates, see that on the right-hand side, you could see how much it came down. That is just today. As a matter of fact, I had to update this because it went from 6.67 down to 6.62, but it was all the way at 7.22 this morning. That was like yesterday's reading. So after this came out, we just saw the 10-year treasury fall like a rock, as well as interest rates coming down. That's down like over 0.5% in just today alone. So I'm not any kind of rate genius at all. My ability to prognosticate where rates are going to go is the same ability as drinking beer and throwing darts. That's what I tell everybody. If we do that, we can figure out what's going to happen with not only interest rates, but how the world should go. Anyhow, but I have a feeling what tends to happen is we have these markets, these shifts where this is over digested, and it looks like the 10-year and mortgage rates dropped a lot, and typically too much on the downside. This will probably adjust as we get more and more information, and I think we could start to see interest rates go up after today. So, but today is a good day for rates, that is for sure. And it's just absolutely amazing. The last time we were here was July of 2007. Just yesterday, I was doing a presentation. The last time we were there was like July of 2002. So I would much rather dial it towards today. July of 2007 was a long time ago, but still we're going in the right direction. And this is what I updated this. I did this last week. And this is just CAR has a median detached price every single month that they talk about for all of SoCal. And I've plugged in that with the average interest rate over time. And just plugging in today's interest rate with, they don't even have the October reading, so I'm putting in the September reading for median detached. It's now at $4,512. Know that this morning it was at $4,795. So the payment based upon interest rates falling down to 6.62% actually went down 6%. And it is less, it's $283 less per month for the median detached house across SoCal. That's actually good news. So you can tell buyers out there, they can understand that that's why today is kind of a good day for rates. It's one of those good days. I'm not prognosticating anything and I'm not making recommendations, but if it was me and my family, I'd probably lock, but you can do your own thing. This is where, but keep in mind that we were at a place for years where payments were staying right in a certain range. I mean, the low was 22, the high was 2870 when we got further into 2021, but it was playing right around $2,600 per month. So, and that's because interest rates were falling as values were going up. So, but still at 4512, it's still a lot more, but it is moving in the right direction because it was at nearly $4,800 per month this morning, and then it changed with that CPI reading. So that is absolutely good news. It is the first good news that we've had in a while. I'm happy to bring it to everybody, but I want everybody to understand that this is just one dot. This is just one point on this chart. CPI went down for one time. It's done it before. Most likely, we're going to see the general direction of CPI is going to be down. Consumer price index is going to be down, and inflation is going to come down. It's going to slowly come down. It's not going to free fall, but this is one dot. We need to see a repeat dot next month in December. It's actually day one when the Federal Reserve is meeting. They'll get this new consumer price index for the month of November, and they'll get that during their meeting. So then they come out and they make what they're probably going to do. Know that everybody talks about that they're going to do a 0.5% drop next next month, and then they're going to do 0.25% not drops, increases. So they'll do a 0.5% increase in December. They'll do 2 quarter point increases in 2023. But this is already built into mortgages. So if they stay the course, mortgage rates aren't really going to be that more volatile going high, because you have to understand these interest rates kept on going up higher and higher as the Fed has changed their tune and said we need higher and higher and higher short-term interest rates. And they were saying, this is where we want to be, and this is where we want to be. And it kept on going higher. So that's why we had, as the market digested it, we had interest rates go up. But typically, we already know what the Fed's going to do. Like right now, we know what they're going to do. And if they stay the course, interest rates aren't going to change much. But as we get news where the economy is slowing, we'll see it continue. We'll see interest rates continue to go down. So any economic news where we see it slow, or CPI, the consumer price index, inflation figures go down, that is going to be news where we're going to see mortgage rates come down, which will help out in the current situation in housing where there's just not a lot of transactions going on. So let's get right back into this. So let's get into the housing's holiday lull. And basically, you had to understand that there's a seasonality to housing. Spring is the best. And I'm doing this in terms of pending activity. A lot of people fall close sales are the best. Well, that's when people want to close, families typically. So more families get involved during the spring because they want to close during the summer. So that's why there's a heightened demand typically in the spring in almost all markets. So, but people transact all year long. It's just that the families do it during the spring. They're still doing it in the summer, but the kids start going back to school in August, and that's when families get out of that equation and we start to see the number of homes on the market and demand start to diminish at the same time during summer. So spring, then summer, then autumn. We're currently in autumn. It didn't quite behave like a normal autumn because we had interest rates continuing to ratchet up during our autumn. But then we get into winter. There is another season, and it's in between autumn and winter, and it's called the holidays. And that is where we're at. Holiday market is a fifth season, and it is the slowest season of the year. It's where we turn our attention away from everything we do and we start focusing on other things like this delicious meal. One of my favorite holidays is by far Thanksgiving, and it's not the food, it's the family atmosphere. It's not a whole lot of presents and things like that or gifts and things like that. It's a fun time for us and the family. We have a huge gathering at my father-in-law's pizza place. It's just absolutely awesome where we have families bring their own tablecloths and stuff. It's such a great thing. Have to say, little pound it to Ballpark Pizza Team in Mission Viejo. They absolutely rock. So then we're just gonna be gathering around. I absolutely, like I said, just absolutely love it. We're going to be sipping some hot chocolate later on, maybe some spiked hot chocolate later on during the holiday season as we get further into holidays. And then we have, the new year. We're going to celebrate a new year. We've got a lot going on. It's just going to be a fun time, and everybody's ready for a little bit of fun because we had a couple of years where we had lockdowns and COVID going like crazy. And this is the year where people are going, yeah, I want to have some fun. I've already been to a few different things where, man, there's a lot of people there. And yes, this is where the holiday market is where supply plunges and demand plunges. So we get both supply and demand plunging at almost the same rate. During the autumn market, we typically have supply going down a little bit and demand going down a little bit. But the difference this time was because interest rates were going up, we had supply flat and even rising in some markets and demand plunging during the autumn. Not normal. But now we've digested these higher rates and rates have come down a little bit to the point where now supply and demand will both plunge at about the same rate. So the market that you see today is not going to further slow for the rest of this year, unless there's some unforeseeable thing like consumer price index. All of a sudden, at the very, in December when they meet, it's way too high, which I don't anticipate that. So, but you know what? You just don't know what the readings are going to be in the future. Now, also, December, on the very right-hand side, you can see this is the average number of homes coming on the market the 3 years prior to COVID. I did this, I've done this back for years, and it's almost always the same thing. The 3 years prior to COVID, it was a little bit less than prior years. That's why I'm using that, because that's kind of a new situation where people are living in their homes longer. But you can see in December, there are very few homes, 11,390 on average. And you could see when the number one month is May. In almost all markets, it's May. And you can see there's 27,000 homes that come on the market. Well, we're at 11,390 normally that come on. And the second slowest month is the month of November. And it's really starts to get to be the second slowest month as soon as we hit next Friday. A week from tomorrow is where the holiday market really begins, the week before Thanksgiving. That's when kids get out of school. Then we start focusing on holidays. We travel and we do different things like that. And that's where there are a lot fewer homes that come on the market starting a week from this Friday. So that's really where it begins. And the holiday market goes through the first couple weeks of January. As soon as those New Year's resolutions are gone, and then we start focusing on other things like buying houses and things, placing homes on the market. But you can see even January and February on the left are not the hottest time of the year for homes coming on the market. it's really boils down to May through August. And I'm not a big fan of August. In many markets, it's way too hot. But it is, you could see the hottest is May, and then April, June, and March, and then July, and then August. So, and then there's this other phenomenon going down. Just because there are 11,390 that normally come on the month of December for all of Southern California, there's this other thing going on called hunkering down. And I talked about that last week. And I'm telling you, people are simply not moving because they're locked in and such low rates, 5% rates or lower. 89% of everybody with a mortgage in California has a rate of 5% or lower. That is just a huge number. So that's why you're not going to really see our market move a little bit more until we get rates at 5.5% or lower. Anything right now helps, and we'll see a little bit more velocity with interest rates coming down 0.5%. But we need to really drill it down in order to see that the market really starts to move a little bit more, and this hunkering down effect that we're seeing can dissipate. And there's going to be a lot of sellers that actually throw in the towel. They've been on the market for a few months and didn't have success. So this is where cancellation, withdrawn, and expireds really as soon as we get to the end of next week, we start to see more of that happen. And so there are fewer available homes. There are some people that even place their homes on hold for all of the holidays, that type of thing. So we will see that coming to a theater near all of us as well. So the combination of it all means that we have a lot fewer homes on the market and the inventory dives. And you just have to understand, in this marketplace that we're in right now, there is low demand because of the higher interest rates. This big drop in interest rates helps, but know that we have a lot further to go in time before we can really see interest rates come down. I know that interest rates are probably going to really start to come down once we get towards that recession. If we hit that recession, which most likely I'm looking at the second quarter of 2023, could be sooner. I don't know. Let's go play some darts, grab a beer. Housing inventory. Let's talk about the housing inventory, because I'm going to tell you what happens in inventory demand and the expected market time. But wait, first, of course, I'd be remiss not to thank our wonderful sponsor. You know him, I know him, Jason Thibodeau from JMJ Financial, the branch manager there, been doing it for so many years. He just knows his stuff. And that's what you want. You want experience in this kind of a market. Nobody that has just started. You want somebody like this that really knows it's done his homework for so long. He knows what's available, and they're gonna tell you like it is. You can reach him at 714-330-8263, and they have an earnest money deposit insurance program. It's called the Homebuyer EMD, where they can protect your earnest money deposit, so that if you want to get out of a transaction because of let's say that a roof leaked or something like that, or the inspection or something, and they're holding on to it, well, they will protect that earnest money deposit to make sure you got it back. And there's a small amount that you put up front for this, and you get it back as soon as the loan funds, and then you're closing up escrow. So it's just a little safety net for you, as well as a lock and shop mortgage. Like I said, if it was me, I probably locked today, because if I'm looking right now to pull a trigger, could go down more. I don't know, could go up more, but that's most likely what I'm thinking. I think we overshot. We came down a lot today. Then they also have a 2-1 buy down mortgage program. And this is just for those, if you've got a buyer that's on the hook, maybe you throw at them something like this to buy down that interest rate to entice them to purchase. And so you don't have to come down as far and meet somewhere in the middle. This can be used as a great negotiating where you pay money up front in order to buy down interest rates. So they have a simple methodology. It's, we don't make promises we can't keep. You can reach Jason Thibodeau at JMJ Financial. Thank you, Jason, for your continued sponsorship at 714-330-8263. That's 714-330-8263. Thanks again, Jason. Let's get back into the program. Housing inventory. Yes, this is Altos Research. I do this on a weekly basis because I want to know we're going to tell you what's happening in SoCal, and I follow other markets, but I want to know what's going on nationally as well. And this is Detached Houses. Altos Research puts this out every Monday, and this is where Jackson Hole, what I'm referring to is the economic symposium that the Federal Reserve does on an annual basis in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and they do it at the end of August. And they came out of that. He came out, Jerome Powell, and said that we're going to cause pain for the consumers and pain for companies. So after he said that, and they meant business, and they came out swinging, the Fed said that we're going to stay this course for quite some time. And as a result, we saw interest rates go from 5% all the way up to into the sevens from the last week of August all the way through until today when they dropped down to sixes. So boom, boom, boom. Anyway, within the last week, the inventory actually went down 2,000 homes. This is good because you could see after Jackson Hole, it kept on starting to rise again because it started to eat into demand, even though there were fewer homeowners coming on the market. But now we're kind of seeing a top and kind of similar to what we're seeing in Southern California. Speaking of Southern California, this is where we're at. And I do want to point out, oh my gosh, all these black lines. Those black lines are just pointing to every single end of the year, the holiday market. Every single time we have a holiday market, what happens to the inventory? It dives like a submarine every single time. It does a major plunge. This will not be an exception. We will plunge down with fewer homes coming on the market, canceled, withdrawals, expires, placed on hold, people throwing in the towel. It will plunge. You could see across the board, goes all the way back to 2013. I can show you in Orange County, it goes all the way back to 2004. And this is where inventory is right now today, 30,463, actually went down 1%, down 446. You can see that line. It's actually going down a little bit. This is the beginning of it was going to start to plunge in the next report. And last year, 17,770, 42% fewer homes on the market. But the 3-year average prior to COVID, 17, 18, and 19 is 40,110. So that's like an extra 10,000 homes, 32% more. This is Jackson Hole. You can see we were already going to continue to go down, but nope, head fake. It was flat, even rose a little bit. And where are we going to go for the rest of the year? Plunge. Like I said, this is where we're going to go. We've reached the holidays. Demand. I have a special guest at the end of this program. I see my daughter, Athena. She's coming up shortly, so stay tuned for her. Demand, you can see it went down, but it didn't go down like it has been. So it has not really, it's been plunging until this last one. If I draw a line across, there are actually 2 other times. This is in the midst of the pandemic, and the other time was in at the beginning of end of 2018, 2019, where we had interest rates that hit 5%, you could see that there was actually demand that was a little less than where we are today. So we have hit these numbers before. It's just really muted right now. And we know that later on, and probably in about 6 months, if we see interest rates continue to go down, we'll see demand readings that continue to rise, and they won't continue to plunge, and it won't continue to be where values come down as fast as soon as we get a little bit relief in interest rates. When that happens, don't know specifically, but we'll have to stay tuned for that. And demand is just a snapshot of the last 30 days of escrow activity, just a snapshot of escrow activity. People that pending sales, people that work pending sales, like those are the people that know when things are changing. So Steve Spanker said, do you think prices will hold now? No, values are continuing to go down. I've already prognosticated they're going to continue to go down there. Just because we had a little bit of relief, we need a lot more relief before values stabilize and could even rise down the road. That's not, that's a 2023, mid 2023 discussion. And we have to see the market continue to slow, inflation come down, and not only the market, but I'm talking about economy. So today we're at 9,014. That's 4% fewer escrows, pending sales, 364 fewer pendings, but know that it was plunging at a much higher velocity. And you can kind of see it in that yellow line that it's kind of like it's not falling as fast. And last year, 17,301, that's 92% more. It's almost double where we are today. The 3-year average prior to COVID, 14,176, 57% more. That's about where the purple line is. And that's Jackson Hole. So everything was actually looking good until we got to the Jackson Hole economic symposium. And then we saw demand really fall. And this is where it's going to go for the rest of the year, just like the inventory, almost at the same rates. There's not going to be a big change. So what is the speed of the market? Here we go. The speed of the market, you can see we've slowed down. This is if you place your home on the market, when are you going to become a pending sale and then do all the contract, all the inspections and all that stuff. There have been times where it's been more, but I'm going to point to right here. This is what happens at the end of each year. There's a point. And we're not at that point yet. So it will go up a little bit from here, but it already has started. And every single year it happens right around the second half of October on. You get this increase, or about November on. So that's what this point is. Each of the year is the end of the years where things slow down. And then we get to January. After the second week of January, we start to see this come down. And here's where we're at today. We're at 101 day expected market time. It's up 2. Now realize that we were at like 20 days, 21 days earlier this year. But here we are at 101, and it was going up at a very high velocity, and now you can see it's slowing down that velocity. Up only 2 days in the last 2-week period of time. It was going up like 7-8 days. Last year we were at 31 days at this time period, and the 3-year average prior to COVID, 86 days. But I want everybody, I always do this when I do this report every other week. In 2007, we had an expected market time of 400 plus days because we just had way too many homes on the market, and a demand reading that was very similar to where we are today. But we had so many homes on the market that the expected market time to exhaust all of the inventory was over a year. So 101 days, that's about, that's 4 times as high as where we are today. This is where that pain was, the Jackson Hole. And then from there, you could see things just slowed down a bit. And where are we going from here? It's not going to continue to skyrocket, but it's kind of just going to go up slightly for the rest of the year. And so how fast is the market in various areas? Los Angeles, it went from 98 to 99 days in just the last 2 weeks, so up a day. Orange County, 87 to 89, up 2 days. Riverside, 113 to 119, up 6. San Bernardino, 113 to 118, up 5. San Diego from 83 to 83 didn't change in the last 2 weeks. So the velocity of the market 2 weeks ago feels just like the same as today. Ventura went from 76 to 77, up 1 day. These were going up a lot more rapidly. I wanted to bring this to you so you understood that the market is not continuing to slow catastrophically. It is now starting to slow its roll on slowing down. And then we'll get to the start of this year. And we'll actually, after it goes up a little bit, we'll probably see the expected market time come down at the beginning of the year towards the end of January. But it's still a slight buyer's market. Regardless of which market I looked at, it's still a slight buyer's market. By far the slowest market that of all the areas that I look at. You can see it in the Inland Empire, San Bernardino, Riverside. You can also see it in Vegas. Vegas is by far the slowest market that I look at, and I look at many markets. So it's not like Vegas, but the Inland Empire has a few more homes on the market, and they're getting towards 2019 levels. If you want a copy of this, you have to be a subscriber, and so I invite you to go to reportsonhousing.com. Please subscribe, and we have reports that all over Southern California. We're working on that Bay report, $15 per month or $100 a year. You get a month free, and you'll also get the most recent report. We email these out to you. Housing Haunted by the Fed. All markets have them. There's going to be a new I do on Monday, and the new one that I'm going to do this coming up week for LA, Orange County, and San Diego is going to be, it's going to talk about if you reduce your price by more than 1%, 1 to 5%, you're going to net less. And if you reduce it by more than 5%, you're going to net even less than the 1 to 4%. So we'll show you that. Coupon code HOLIDAY. That's all I have. So I'm going to bring on my special guest. Who is my special guest right now? Who is it? She wants me to move. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'm going to back up because there's some special guest. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Athena Thomas, and this is my dad, Stephen Thomas. He is the owner of Reports on Housing, and he is the best daddy ever. So if you want to keep on making me happy, please subscribe to my daddy, Stephen Thomas. Come on. He has something in quantitative economics and decision scientist background. Come on. You have to think that takes hard work.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a nice, if you have your kids, have 3-day weekend.
That's right. Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day to all those vets that are out there. We salute you. We thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
2